Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. We are just 24 hours away from the weirdest and most unique WrestleMania of all time. Yeah, that's right. I have absolutely no idea what they have in store for us over the next 48 hours of this WrestleMania weekend. And while it is very intriguing, it's not intriguing or exciting for any of the right reasons. And one of the reasons for me that I can make an example for you guys to know that you should not have any faith in the WWE to truly deliver on this WrestleMania is because people like Triple H come out and blatantly lie to you guys, and we are going to talk about all of that and so much more right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's SmackDown review and reaction show only on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
You know something? I want to be nice. I always want to try to give the WWE the benefit of the doubt. But the global crisis that has taken the world by storm, making waves throughout the world of professional wrestling, waves so strong that it has effectively sunk the pirate ship that has been on the road to WrestleMania 36 in Tampa, has me wanting to just be like, all right, whatever, we're going to get what they give us, and it's just, it's what we're getting, so fine. But I can't. I can't be forgiving, and I have to bring the hammer down, especially this week. The poop hammer is going to Triple H himself, because this guy's got a pretty big nose, but I didn't realize that it was as big as Pinocchio. Maybe next week it's going to grow bigger, because this guy flat out lied to the entire world. And I don't know if this was a last-minute decision by Vince McMahon to cut whatever it is they supposedly had planned, but we had Triple H earlier this week on ESPN talking to Ariel Helwani, and he said that he thinks this is going to play out in a unique manner, and he didn't want to spoil it for the rest of the fans. What unique and interesting way did they show us that they decided to make a substitution for Roman Reigns with Braun Strowman? Braun Strowman is now going to be facing Bill Goldberg at this bullshit WrestleMania because Roman Reigns is smart enough to put his health first and put the health of his loved one first and put the concerns of the locker room first and be smart enough to pull out of this thing because he knows it shouldn't even be happening. But we all know Vince McMahon is going to push forward and do whatever it is he wants to do. So instead of doing the right thing and taking a break and coming back and starting shit over, he's going to give a Universal Championship match to Braun Strowman, which Triple H promised would be revealed in a unique manner. And how was it revealed tonight on SmackDown? In a 10-second blip by Michael Cole. Oh, by the way, Braun Strowman's going to be fighting Bill Goldberg, not Roman Reigns. And then we had a quick promotional graphic, and it was over. Whoa, what a unique and interesting way to go about this. There was also a face-to-face, supposedly, that was going to happen between Bill Goldberg and Roman Reigns on this episode of the show that was advertised on Monday, that they talked about throughout the week on social media. What was that? You waited all this time, and then you said it was going to be unique, and you failed. You fail epically. And Braun Strowman, really? Do I even have to get started on the reasons why Braun Strowman is one of the most terrible picks they could have put in this situation? For what reason is this giant brown snowman getting a Universal Championship matchup? Because he lost to Sami Zayn and his little pack of wolves on the outside? This is how he's going to get revenge. He's going to be beating Bill Goldberg for the Blue Universal Championship. Who cares? I care less about that than I cared about him versus Roman. I would rather see Goldberg versus Roman than Goldberg versus Strowman. Is that why they did it? Because of the similarities to, well, it's not Roman, but we could give him Strowman. At least it sounds like Roman. We could pretend it's Roman. What the hell kind of shit is that? How much can you fail? You want me to tell you everything wrong with the show? That is the biggest thing wrong. That's the biggest thing I could come up with. And it just shows you point blank that this company doesn't give a shit about you. It doesn't give a shit about me. It doesn't care about making anything interesting or unique or different. And they flat out tell you, this is going to be unique. It's going to be interesting. And I want you guys to see it play out because I think you are going to really enjoy it. And what was to enjoy? The sound of Cole's voice? That makes me want to bash my head in as it is. What a joke. What a joke this company is. And then you got the show starting off with an episode of Miz TV, so we can see the dirt shits holding the championships once again, coming out here promoting a title match. And you're going to hear a lot of people tonight telling you guys, oh, but I thought The Miz was taken off of WrestleMania. And everybody's kind of, I think, forgetting the fact that a lot of these segments were taped. And while it is true that the Usos have come out and stated that they were not happy with The Miz for showing up at the Performance Center for a taping of SmackDown and being sick and not disclosing it to the company or to anybody that he was involved with, don't you guys think that maybe this particular match in question was the match that is being discussed when the Usos are talking about being pissed off with The Miz and Morrison? We haven't seen them interact with each other all that much on this lead up to SmackDown, and it is quite possible that the day they filmed these segments for SmackDown, they also filmed their WrestleMania things. And I would not believe that they would continue to promote this tag team matchup and then give it the stipulation of a ladder match, which is a terrible idea in an empty arena, and not have it come and play out over the weekend. Which leads me to believe that this was already filmed, and it's probably the incident that caused the Usos to be pissed off about The Miz showing up to actually work. So I'm sure you're going to hear lots of people telling you, oh, the WWE, it's lying to you, and maybe this matchup's not going to happen, and maybe it's not. But that's the best thing that I could think of. I try to be, like I said, I'm trying to be fair, given the temperature of the world right now. And with everything going on, they can't be that stupid. I mean, they could be. I mean, look what they did with Braun Strowman. We all know, let's be honest, they could definitely be that stupid. I mean, we're talking about Vince McMahon here. Guy's not even smart enough to postpone this show until business gets back to normal. But I can't believe that they would have this show happen tonight and then not follow through with this matchup, which leads me to believe it's already been filmed. So some people are going to think this opening segment was useless and unnecessary and it's taking place because of a match that's most likely not going to happen, but I'm thinking otherwise. And there's no reason to continue to push this matchup and then announce a stipulation to it if it wasn't already in the bag for the fans to see. And while we're on that note, a ladder match in an empty arena, as we mentioned a second ago, is a terrible idea. Sure, us at home maybe can get some great spots out of it. It might add to the intrigue of a tag team championship match that nobody really gives two shit about. It's going to be another chapter in the long-running saga of the Usos versus the New Day. And to not have the fans in the arena to react to those big moments, it's not going to play out right. It's not going to feel right. Nothing about this WrestleMania is going to feel right. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. Everything just sucks right now. Everything sucks right now and feels like absolute shit. But we're going to sit through it. And we'll be here to bring the hammer down on all of it for all of you guys. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, especially if you're having a good time here right now. Hit that subscribe button. Become one of the over 2,000 strong in the Sledgehead Army that know when you want your wrestling news full of honesty, this is the place to be. Just like I'm being honest, I don't want to see this tag team matchup, but I believe it's going to happen. I believe it's already been filmed. It's in the bag. So I don't think this was an unnecessary segment. You know what was an unnecessary segment? Bam, bam, a triple threat match with Lacey Evans that was won by Tamina. Bam, 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 shitting me? You're giving me a triple threat match to promote this women's 5-woman matchup for Bayley's Women's Championship. And you got in the ring, you got not only bam, bam, lady bam, bam. You put her in the ring with Tamina. Now, we already thought Tamina got her moment to shine. They showed her on last week's SmackDown, so everybody remembered who she was. But now they want us to remember that maybe she could win. Holy shit. So Tamina ends up winning this terrible triple threat match. And the biggest thing wrong with this matchup is there was one woman in this triple threat match that clearly should have been the one to go over. And that was Naomi. You got Tamina, Naomi, and Lacey Bam Bam, and you give the win to Tamina? I mean, I almost expected it to go to Bam Bam, but it didn't. It went to somebody even worse. And I can't wrap my head around that decision. Why do we need to believe that Tamina is a viable threat when we all know she's not? I mean, we're not stupid. We don't have the memory of an ant. We know what has happened over the course of her career. We know that the only moment she had to shine was in Team Bad, and even that was just awful. I don't like saying these things, but I speak the truth. And putting Tamina in this position to win this meaningless triple threat match 24 hours prior to this bullshit WrestleMania was one of the worst things I had to sit through on this night. Absolutely ridiculous. No, thank you. Everybody that is watching this women's match, everybody that tunes in is only tuning in to see one thing. What happens between Banks and Bayley? Other than that, everything else is absolutely useless. Every other girl in this matchup is just in the way. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares about this 5-way. They care about 2 of the women in that 5-way. And we'll see what they do with that. I have a feeling they're going to fail us on that as well. It's not an elimination match, right? I don't believe it is. So somehow, some way, they're going to tease Sasha and Bayley and never allow them to do anything at WrestleMania. After this ridiculous triple threat match, Bayley came out and was talking to Tamina and was being all nice to her and says she's happy Tamina's in this match and blah, blah, blah. Bayley goes to walk away and then Tamina hits her with a super kick because we're supposed to believe that Tamina is important when she's just an afterthought in this matchup. After this, in the back, we got the beginning of a long-running story on this evening. Was mildly interesting because everybody's somewhat invested in what is going to happen between Otis and Mandy. Tucker, gotta get me my Mandy. And we seen Tuck warming up in the back, and Mandy Rose approached him. But then we seen the little Mustafa Ali blip, the static with the little circly ring thing made of the blue lights. And then there was a graphic that said, "The truth will be heard," that flashed across the screen. The WWE then needed to kill time because they had nothing else on deck, so they wanted to show us a matchup from WrestleMania's past to get us all excited and to try to get us to remember, hey, remember when WrestleMania actually was awesome and it had some meaningful matches that were really dramatic and really told a story? We're going to show you one of the best ones, and that one was the WrestleMania 24 matchup between Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, the I'm Sorry, I Love You match, Ric Flair's final singles performance at WrestleMania. Absolutely one of my favorite WrestleMania matchups of all time. And I was actually very happy to get to see this match once again. It was annoying to get the commercial breaks in between, and it made this matchup even longer than I remember it being. But this is a great match. In fact, I went on record on Twitter, and you can go take part in this poll and go vote in this poll that I put up there. I'm going out on a limb and saying that Flair versus HBK was way better than Rock Hogan from WrestleMania. And I know the Rock Hogan thing was great at WrestleMania 18. It was like a shift in the business. It was just epic on all levels. But so was Flair versus Michaels. And the stakes were raised much higher by having Ric Flair's career on the line. And that last second when Shawn Michaels said what he said, and pinned Ric Flair, and then the tears and the emotion and his kids at ringside, and it was one of the last times he was at a wrestling event with his son David, who ended up passing away. Or Richard Flair, I'm sorry, whichever, the younger one. I said David Flair, he was the older one that was in WCW, but you know what I mean. Charlotte Flair, like a little baby on the outside. It was gripping back then, it was gripping and emotional now. But do you know what was wrong with them showing this tonight? First of all, it really has nothing to do with what's going on at this year's WrestleMania. And while I appreciate them showing me some good matchups, the anniversary of this matchup actually was Monday. Literally, March 30th, 12 years ago, this match took place. So wouldn't it have been smarter to use this as the time killer on Monday Night Raw to celebrate it on its actual anniversary? Or are they really just that brain dead that they forgot? Or did they only show this matchup because so many people, like myself, pointed out that why that match was not shown? If you're going to show old WrestleMania matches, that was the night to show this matchup. Make mention that it's the fact that it is the anniversary of the matchup, which would give immediate meaning as to why we are seeing it in the first place. But why were we seeing it now? Not to look a gift horse in the mouth, but that's WWE logic for you. This match was fucking fantastic. It was Reed Flair. I don't know why I said Richard. For some reason, slipped my mind. Forgive me. God rest his soul. Reed Flair, who was the one that tragically passed away, that also sent Charlotte Flair on her trajectory to end up becoming the queen of the WWE. After this matchup, they recapped Baron Corbin and Elias playing out their Lion King roleplay scenario from last week, which we talked about on last SmackDown's review. Michael Cole announced Elias versus King Corbin is still taking place, despite the fact that Elias suffered such a tremendous fall and is somewhat injured in this matchup. Who cares? Do you? Because I don't. He's going to spend more time probably singing and acting like a moron than we're going to see him in the ring with Corbin, which I don't want to see any more than I have already. We've seen this a million times before. There's no reason to care about this matchup. There's nothing at stake. This is just two guys going out there that nobody really cares about, one or the other. There might be some Elias fans, and yeah, it's cool to chant, walk with Elias, but none of that stuff's happening because there's no fans to do that. So this is going to be empty and pointless, and I don't care. And I know you don't either. Michael Cole then made the epic, unique announcement of the Universal Champion Goldberg defending against Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. There was no unique explanation or storyline for the change of this matchup. Michael Cole just announced it. There was also no mention of Roman Reigns at all, which I found interesting. Not for the right reasons. Are they snubbing him because he doesn't want to be part of it now? You've led everybody to believe that it was still going down up until Monday. And now you're not even saying, oh, by the way, replacing Roman Reigns is just, Braun Strowman is now facing Universal Champion Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania. I guess they're relying on the fact that everybody knows and everybody's been on social media and has heard Roman's announcement, so they don't feel the need to, embellish on that even a little bit. We had a singles match between Tucker and Dolph Ziggler. Tucker versus Ziggler! And while this is one of the more intriguing storylines on all of SmackDown, it's kind of become predictable, and this wasn't even about the match. This was actually a pretty decent match for Tucker. He's a big man. He can move very well. I'm tired of seeing Dolph Ziggler in the ring in any way at this point, but we all kind of know the writing's on the wall. We all kind of see what's coming here. The story of this matchup was not the match itself, as Ziggler hit the zigzag on the steps to Tucker, which got him disqualified by the referee. But none of this mattered. The only thing that mattered is that after Otis came out to come check his buddy, we got another blip from Mustafa Ali. And this time we've seen a figure sitting in a chair. And this figure turned, and you thought he was going to reveal himself to you, but he sat there in black in all blacked out, in a solid black mask. You couldn't see who it was. His frame definitely leads towards the fact that he is, in fact, Mustafa Ali, but we don't know that as a fact, so we're still speculating, but I'm going to continue to believe it's him until he actually shows up somewhere. The interesting thing here is that he said once again the truth will be heard. As it flashed across the screen a couple of times, this man, in a disguised voice, said to everybody in the ring, the truth will be heard. And then he presses a little button that shows the world what we all kind of already know, which was that Sonya Deville sent the text to Otis that caused him to be late and inserted Dolph Ziggler into the picture. There is a bigger overall plan in play between Ziggler and Deville. I don't know what really Sonya Deville was looking to gain out of this, but hopefully they make it worth it in the payoff. This reveal got Mandy Rose all pissed off at Sonya Deville. It also got Otis really extra mad at Ziggy. But the one thing I found interesting, and the one thing I thought was a little stupid, was the reveal with this GTV type of surveillance footage, courtesy of this secret figure. And Mandy Rose's texts from Sonya Deville, when she sent the messages and realized that she accomplished her mission, she deleted the text, and every time she did, she said delete. When she said it, delete, because that's what we all do. Like when you're deleting text messages, you announce to everybody around, delete this, delete, bloop, delete, bloop. Or what does she think? She's Matt Hardy all of a sudden? Delete, delete. Just a little nitpicky of me, but these are the things I notice. Who does that? Nobody says delete. Unless maybe they're 12 years old. I don't get it. Sonya tried to apologize to Mandy Rose following this whole thing, but Mandy Rose just walked away. We all kind of see what's coming. Mandy Rose is going to end up in the arms of Otis before WrestleMania comes to a close this weekend, and I'm all right with it. It just would have come off better if there were fans there to celebrate along with him, but we all know that's not going to be the case. WWE gave us a match between Daniel Bryan and Shinsuke Nakamura, and I'm not the type of person that really complains about this. It was a very good matchup between two of the best wrestlers in the world, but there's nothing important here. I feel like WWE should be saving these matches for after Daniel Bryan's win at WrestleMania over Sami Zayn. Daniel Bryan can become the new Intercontinental Champion, and then he can go on to face guys like Cesaro and defeat them. Face Nakamura, defeat him. Face Sami Zayn in a rematch, defeat him again as well. All the while building up the prestige of the Intercontinental Championship by giving us great match after great match after great match with great opponents, and it finally leads to Drew Gulak turning on Daniel Bryan after pretending to be his friend all this time, but he was really there studying Daniel Bryan even further the whole time, and now ends up being the one to beat Daniel Bryan for the Intercontinental Championship somewhere down the line. That's good storytelling, but no. Instead, we're going to see Daniel Bryan beat Cesaro. We're going to see Daniel Bryan win tonight by disqualification over Shinsuke Nakamura, where at least Shinsuke didn't get beaten clean tonight. He still is getting beaten in one sense of the word, but Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn are headed on a collision course for the Intercontinental Championship at this WrestleMania. And what are they going to do when it's over? They're probably still going to do what I said, but probably in a much less interesting manner. And now that we've seen Daniel versus Shinsuke a couple of times now, we've seen Daniel versus Cesaro, it doesn't make it special. They don't know how to hold things, and this is why we don't have nice things. One of the cool things about this matchup actually was Sami Zayn on commentary. I enjoyed him kind of shitting all over Michael Cole, and every time Michael Cole said something to piss off Sami Zayn, he was right there in his face. But like I said, this match ended with just a schmoz ending, which you all kind of predicted and we all kind of knew was going to happen. Cesaro hits the ring and hits the neutralizer on Daniel Bryan. Then Daniel Bryan follows up with the Kinshasa. Daniel Bryan wins by disqualification. He beat down Drew Gulak as well. So Daniel Bryan taking the beating tonight pretty much means he's going to be the one to go over this weekend at WrestleMania. We then had John Cena and his response to Bray Wyatt and the challenge to the Firefly Funhouse. And, okay, I mean, John Cena is always a good promo, right? So he said some very interesting things here on this night. One of the things that got me was pretty much what has been the focus of WrestleMania. He was able to eloquate this very, very well. And he said this is the most unique WrestleMania. It's going to end up being the most watched WrestleMania maybe ever. It's going to be the most talked about thing of the weekend, of the entire week in all of wrestling. If we're being honest, it's going maybe to be the only thing to talk about if all of the shows end up getting shut down and everybody has to sit home. But while that is true, again, it is for all the wrong reasons. It's because we have been forced into this terrible situation. Vince McMahon won't do the right thing and postpone this thing and allow everybody to stay home until everything gets back to normal. I'm sure it's not going to be like this forever, but it would be more cost effective to not be running shows, not have to pay talent, and save your money until it's time to go back to work. At least that's what I think. So yeah, he was right with what he said about it being the most watched and the most talked about, but nobody's going to be talking about it pretty favorably. There are a couple of matches on that card as a whole that may turn out interesting, and one of them is the Graveyard match, which can be produced, since it's a tape segment, to be more like a horror film and be very interesting. So I'm hoping they do something like that. The other one is this matchup with John Cena and The Fiend that is now going to be a Firefly Funhouse match. John Cena asks, what the hell is a Firefly Funhouse match? He doesn't even think Bray Wyatt knows what a Firefly Funhouse match is. But John Cena also buried The Fiend pretty hard in this promo. So hard that if The Fiend does not beat John Cena this weekend, then Bray Wyatt should just leave. He should just pack up all of his gear and his puppets and all of his Funhouse toys and get the fuck out of Dodge. Because the way John Cena just slayed him with his words tonight, called him a hybrid of Wiz Khalifa and the WB Frog, was really derogatory about Bray Wyatt. And sure, that's the point. You know, when you're delivering a promo, you're not going to talk about how great the guy is, but you got to show a little, show some feel. Like, John Cena should be somewhat afraid. He doesn't know what The Fiend is all about. He's been in the ring with Bray Wyatt before, but he hasn't been in the ring with this Bray Wyatt before, but he doesn't seem to give a shit. He's going to end up winning. I think he's going to end up winning, and then we're supposed to give a shit about The Fiend? John Cena went out and told the world tonight, The Fiend has been exposed by Bill Goldberg. And that was probably the most honest thing he has ever said. Or at least it was the most honest thing he said in this promo. Because they did. They exposed The Fiend as being nothing. He's been beaten by a 50-year-old Bill Goldberg in way too little time. And now finds himself in a matchup with one of the best wrestlers in the business, in the history of the company. A guy that's buried him once before. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens once again. John Cena has the ability to deliver on the microphone, but still didn't really do much to get me excited. All I felt like is, man, he's really shitting on Bray Wyatt here. If Bray Wyatt doesn't come out with the win, it's really going to be the end for this whole entire Fiend character. And why wouldn't they? If Cena's going to come back, why wouldn't he come back to put somebody over? Be about the future. He's talking about how the future's so important. Put somebody for the future over. Which is what I feel like this match is all about. Which is why they needed to have the championship involved. Because now everything that happens is just, whatever. It's just, oh, well, he said this and he said that. There's nothing really at stake. There's nothing they're really fighting for. Bray Wyatt's pretty much just fighting for his personal pride. And who gives a shit about that? Why would The Fiend care about the mistakes of his past? He should be worried about dominating the future. But I don't know, you guys. We are going to be here all weekend long talking about this WrestleMania. And it's so disheartening to me. And I think about a year ago at this time, I was super hyped. WrestleMania 35 wasn't the greatest card in the world, but I got tickets given to me by a real good friend, and I was going down to enjoy WrestleMania. And now I feel like there's no way any of us could really enjoy this. And I'm basing that off of the fact that I can't enjoy these shows that we've been getting since the quarantine has begun. I just can't get into these empty arena shows. And AEW having fans, having other wrestlers rather, pose as fans, even though it's maybe only 6 to 12 people, it does add a little bit something more to the show. But at the end of the day, it's just not wrestling. I've been watching wrestling with fans in attendance forever, because that's how it's supposed to be. It's been like that since the beginning of time. What's the point of wrestling if there's nobody there to watch? And sure, everybody's watching at home, but if you can't hear everybody be excited, how is that fulfilling for them? I mentioned on Monday Night Raw a great analogy for it. It's like going to your favorite Broadway show and being the only one in the audience. And now all these actors are performing live as if a whole entire crowd was there. And it just feels awkward. It's like you want to get excited, you want to get behind them, you want to enjoy the show, but the surroundings and the environment just take you out of it, because you can't truly forget about what's going on in the outside world when it's clear as day to see still affecting your wrestling programs. And the fact that it's affected a show like WrestleMania is just a shame. It's sad. It's sad. I'm not even angry about it, because, this is real life. You cannot predict what's going to happen, and you can't, sometimes you just can't win. And it seems at this point, the world of wrestling just can't win. So why not just lay the cards on the table and come back when it's safe to play? Because right now, it's not safe for them. It's not safe for anybody to be outside. And as a wrestling fan, you don't feel that same connect. It's just empty, and it's boring, and it's lifeless. It's the word I think I've used the most. There's just no life. And a WrestleMania with no life, no heartbeat to it. It's just dead. But we'll be here to talk about it. Don't forget to be here tomorrow night as we review WrestleMania 36 Night 1. The first 8 of 16 matchups. Oh boy. Hopefully some of these things will get us through. I'm thinking all of the regular matches that are happening are just going to be what we've been seeing on Raw and SmackDown. And the specialty matches may be able to deliver something special. But this company don't know shit. This company's telling us things are going to be great and special and unique. And they give us nothing. So now you're giving us a WrestleMania that you're calling too big for just one night. You're giving it to us in 2 nights. And there's not a single interesting thing about it. And you don't even care enough to be honest with your fans. You're just, hey, by the way, Braun Strowman's now Roman Reigns. Fucking awful. Thank you guys so much for being with me here. Don't forget to tune in all weekend long. If you are not already a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now so that you don't miss a thing that we got coming, as the coverage of WrestleMania will be just as ruthless as everything else that we do on this channel. Don't forget, if you enjoyed today's show, to smash that like button. If I made you laugh, if I made you cry, if I made you understand why this WrestleMania build is just absolutely horrendous and everything that's going on shouldn't be going on, smash that like button right now. Share your thoughts with me right now in the comments section below. Let me know if you think Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels is a better WrestleMania matchup than Rock Hogan. You could do that on Twitter. You could follow me there at Nick Nightmare and take part in that poll, or you could leave what you think down in the comments section below. You could also follow me on the Insta at Nick_Nightmare over there on the IG. And I hope to see all you guys there, as we would like to grow on those platforms as well. And that, my friends, is really all I have for you guys. This is the team. Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. My name is Nick Nightmare, your host with the most, but the most important member of this team is each and every one of you beautiful sledgeheads. As always, thank you all for being a part of this, and thank you all for watching this and staying wrestling fans through WrestleMania. It was hard enough staying wrestling fans with the product being as bad as it was and fans were going to the show. I know it's very hard right now, and I appreciate your viewership now more than ever. And it's your job to share this show, share the shit out of this show, and get us over that hump and get us more sledgeheads now more than ever. It's WrestleMania season. Let's get something good out of it, and maybe that something good is you. So hit that subscribe button right now. That, my friends, is going to do it. I'm rambling on now. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Bang.